What's up guys, Doomon here and welcome back to another video. Today we are in Terminus again because in the first episode and the last episode, because last episode was the first episode of the series, we worked on this. Originally I planned on it being a skyscraper, but I kind of realized it looks more like one of the buildings you'd have in a lineup, so I built a second one, but I built it a bit smaller. And I decided, I'm just going to keep that going. So, I decided this is going to be kind of like the downtown kind of area. Like, if you've ever been to cities like, I know I've gone to cities like Charleston on vacation before, the one in South Carolina and stuff. They have buildings that are, like, made out of, like, stone and stone brick and normal brick that kind of, like, line up like this. They often have, like, brick, like, they're often made out of brick and stone and stuff like that, and they're, like, kind of smushed together, you know, a bit of, older buildings, I would say, you know, because I feel like that was kind of a pretty popular style in, like, I don't know what that would be, like, maybe, what would that be, like, 40s? I think that'd be, like, 40s, maybe 50s. I don't really know, but you know, it's just that kind of style with like the buildings lined up against each other. It's basically that, and I actually went ahead and already finished this entire side of the building, as well as the roof. Now I just have to do the back of it, and pretty much every side of that building. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and start working on this thing. Oh yeah, hold on, I'm trying to think, have I done anything else since last episode? Yeah, actually I did. I went back to a few older buildings, and I've actually started to do interior work. I know it's not, like, the most impressive interior. In fact, it's pretty lax, but with buildings that are this actually small on the interior, you kind of have to do smaller builds and stuff, you know? Like, if we come down here, there's not really much room, and I'm saying that despite the fact that so much of the room is empty. It's just, it's hard to furnish buildings like this, you know? But, yeah, I went ahead and did a tiny bit of work on the inside of that building. What else? Gotta think. I don't remember if I did this before last episode or not. Oh, how did you get out? Oh my gosh. I have no idea where this horse came from. I turned mob spawning off because I was sick of all the animals that just kept appearing. Yet, despite the fact that mob spawning was off, this one horse was just kind of walking around. So I decided to keep it, just because why not? If this one horse has managed to sneak past my anti-mob system, also known as turning mob spawn off, then what else? Come on, get up. Up. Okay. I had to do it like the same way I did it last time. I've done this before because I'm trying to get this horse to, like, you know. Oh, good lord. Oh, well, through. Dang it. No. Through. Right. Okay, so let's do that. Of course, there's pressure plates on the inside. I don't want it running around through the facility. Oh no. Did I manage to get it through? Almost. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. I'm just gonna go over here and I'm not letting you run around. There we go. That took way too long. Yeah, by the way, right here, you see how it says New Terminus City? Because the city that's over here. I'm planning on this. This is Terminus City, the first of 3, maybe more, cities. It says new because after the apocalypse, and if you're wondering, well, I'm sure you probably asked this question, why there's a village in the middle of what should be bustling buildings and cities. This, like, little red line is supposed to represent a forested area. I don't know if you've, like, been to, like, more rural / suburban areas, like, areas further away from the, cities. There's a lot of, like, thin layers of foresting just kind of there. So basically what this would be some foresting around the facility that wasn't taken down because it kind of obscures the view of the facility, which is kind of like, when you think about it, if there's going to be like a pretty important, like, I don't know if you'd call it a government facility because it's not really working for the government, but with a militaristic scientific facility containing horrible, bad things, you're probably not going to want people looking directly in. And yeah, you can see it from the city, but it's one of those things where if you're all the way over here in the city and you're looking over at the lab, which if we come from right here, you can't really see much. Like, all you can see is like, what the hell is that? What the hell? What the fuck? What the hell is that? It's the smoke? Hold on. Wait a minute. I have to test something. Is it really the smoke? Hold on. Yo, that messed with my head for a second. It is! When you're looking through the glass, other pieces of glass glow. That is freaking insane. It's like, look at the police station in the left corner of my screen. Oh, that is just... Oh, that is just bizarre. Bro, I was so freaked out. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Why can't I see it when I'm only looking through the glass? That, like, confused me so bad. I was like, oh no, what is this? What is going on? I'm, like, so confused. And then I realized... Hold on, is it... I'm trying to see if it works both ways. It does, look. The glass. Oh, that is terrifying. The glass glows black. It's not just the glass, I think it's like the part of the buildings are glowing too. That is fucking weird. Jesus, that is like actually terrifying. And so awesome too. It's like you can't see anything, you just see smoke and then all the windows glow black. Oh, that is just fucking weird. That is so bizarre. That's fucking realized only now how much I say that. Like how much you say, well, I'm gonna be thinking about that for a long time. Because anytime something like really weird happens, I always like in the back of my, or like I'll be like, you know, I'm probably gonna be thinking about that for the next 20 years. And I don't know why, but there's just something, I don't know. I'm like going into a full-on dive into my brain. I'm like, oh my god, why is this stuff's happening? I'm not really sure what that even fucking means. Why is this stuff's happenings? Alright, so let's keep going. And yes, this is like the, wait, I am so stupid. You know what I've been forgetting to do? I was just about to complain that this is going to be a pretty slow process. No, it's not. I'm just being stupid. This process isn't going to be slow unless I make it slow. I don't know why. I completely forgot that there's this magical thing called jump boost potions. Oh, by the way, if you don't know this, which I actually didn't know this until a while back, for the longest time, I was never a creative person. Like, I didn't like playing in creative mode. I preferred survival. Hold on, let me think about that. Yeah, like, even when I did do creative mode, it was always only to spawn stuff in so that I could play survival, but with better gear. Like, I've never really been a fan of creative until quite recently, when I've become just obsessive with this new project to work on. Yeah, until then, never really was a fan of creative, so I never really would have known about stuff like this because I never would have had a need to know it. But recently, whenever I started doing more creative things, I was just sitting there and I'm like, man, I wonder if, because I was sitting there and I'm like, huh, so wouldn't speed make you move fast when you're flying too? Because that's actually how it started. It wasn't for building. I was just sitting there and I'm like, man, flying is slow. What if I drink a speed potion? Will it make me go faster? And lo and behold, yes, it did. So I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I realized, well, that can be productive in building, because if you're moving faster, then it means you can place faster. And then I realized that if you consume a jump boost potion, it also makes you descend and rise much faster than usual. So now I basically just chug full of jump boost and speed whenever I'm building, because, you know, it works. So why not? Shit. Alright, so trying to think about some commentary. Because the weird thing is, now I'm not just, like, whenever I, did last episode where we were working on the previous building, it was, the first of these buildings that I was working on. So, you know, there was slightly more enthusiasm towards it. At this point, I'm basically just making a 3-block thick fucking wall. And that's basically what you'll spend half an hour doing. Building cities is kind of like, out of all the things you could build, I would say that the two things that take the most space to build are probably cities. Well, not most space, the most time-consuming and eventually boring things to build would definitely be cities and landscape. Wait, how am I gonna do this? Wait, what? Hold on. Oh, there's where I made a mistake. Because this is basically what you do when you're building a city. You basically just make dozens of continuous stripes that go up and up and up and up and up. By the way, this design actually is mine. It's the same as this, only I shrunk it a bit. On its own, this skyscraper does look fine, and this actually would have been a pretty good skyscraper. And if I had just left it alone and then moved on, you know, it could have been a pretty good skyscraper just on its own. It would have worked. Instead, I made the mistake of adding this side bit. And at that point, I was like, well, it can't really be a skyscraper now, can it? Because there's not very many skyscrapers that connect to other skyscrapers. Like, that are just laid up against each other, you know? Which basically I was like, oh, well, you know what? I kind of just messed this up. Now I'm just going to make this the downtown section, because I don't really have a choice now. And now every time I see this, I think, this building is too tall. Because now, all the other buildings are going to look too small in comparison. Like this building, look at it. See the size difference? It looks ridiculous. I'm hoping that by making this one a bit closer to this one, maybe 1 or 2 floors taller than that, it'll kind of level it out a bit more, make it look okay, make it look more natural. But I'm still just left with the thought that this building is just way too tall, because this downtown-esque kind of building is taller than all the skyscrapers in the world. And buildings like this, they're not really skyscrapers. These are like fake scrapers, you know? Like, on their own, if you were building like this one in a world undamaged, you'd be like, yeah, okay, that's a skyscraper. But when you compare it to actual like skyscraper buildings, and you try and get more logistical and practical, and you start building multiple of them, you start to notice like a size difference. This actually isn't a skyscraper, it's just an apartment building. And if you look at the TSCM apartment building, TSCM skyscraper, and then this building, which is an extra like floor taller and is more oh god. If you're wondering what this is, by the way, this was me comparing how tall this building is to the world limit. And I ended up getting to a theory that most of like the full-on actual skyscrapers people make hit world limit. And if I'm going to start making skyscrapers from now on, all of my skyscrapers, they need to be taller than this. So I was just kind of getting a bit of a comparison, you know, trying to see how this would actually play out. And by the way, I gotta say, this city from the top view and this area from the top view kind of looks pretty good. I'm trying to see, is this a better view? Oh yeah, this is definitely a better view. No. Hold on, actually. Yeah, this is a much better view. You can see, like, to my left, you can see the theater, the gas station, post office, radio station, the edge of the police station. You can see the skyscrapers, the parking lot for the lab, the village, the fire station, the park. You can actually see the cafe over there. There's a lot of work that's been done. Problem is, this is a very irregular and impractical thing. This entire setup is impractical. When I started building the actual city buildings, I didn't build them practically, because I didn't build the road practically. I started this entire city off with this road. And when I built that road, I then built these. And when I built these, which by the way, at first there was no road, well then I had to make roads to kind of branch out to connect these so they weren't just floating. Once I did that, I got a bunch of mishmash roads. And then when I built this terrible, just absolutely abysmal skyscraper, which to be honest, I'm planning on destroying and rebuilding, because I just don't like the look of it at all. I didn't plan out. That was the problem. With the laboratory, everything worked. It might not look too impressive from the outside. In fact, you might think it looks stupid on the outside. Yeah. But I planned out the entire laboratory ahead of time. Its shape, everything that was in it. And because of that, whenever I started working, we never ran into problems. We managed to create every damn room. And we managed to size it properly. And so the entire lab, the inside, worked like a charm. There's some areas like this, which are just kind of like filler, but the entire lab worked. It was the perfect shape because I built it using a pre-planned design. I was like, okay, so I grabbed a piece of paper and made like a layout for a building. I think this was like the third different layout I looked at. Like I made 3 different layouts, didn't like the first one, didn't like the second one, but on the third one I was like, you know what, okay, this one can work. So I went with the third one, and it left enough space. This room actually has to be torn down and rebuilt, because I don't like the redstone machines that are inside, because they're just a bunch of devices that are connected by random snippets of redstone. The plan of this room wasn't to be just a bunch of random corroborated messes made out of redstone. So I actually do have to tear the inside of this room down. But the point is, I planned ahead for, like, even the hallways. Like, this hallway right here was pre-planned ahead before the first blocks were placed. The entire layout of the building was mapped out. And the problem with this city is that I didn't do the same thing with the city. I built it random. I made a bunch of crappy roads from right here, and then built a few, like, supposed skyscrapers that were so torn down that they were basically just rubble at this point. Like this one. This is supposed to represent a broken skyscraper? Really? This thing is smaller than my house, and it's supposed to be a skyscraper. Hell, this thing is smaller than pretty much most of the Minecraft houses. Fucking... It's terrible. Like, it's actual terrible. And it was placed in a terrible location. Like, look at this. And this one. And then I started building these, and these, and this. And it's all placed so impractical. And I got lazy on this one, so I didn't actually make it tall enough. In fact, to be honest, if this were to be a skyscraper, it would need to be like 4 or 5 floors taller. So that it was about that high, maybe a tiny bit higher. Nothing like this crap. And like this one, like what even is this? Like the inside of it, if I can find it, look at this. It's literally just whatever the fuck that is supposed to be. And then a little cafeteria down here with a spiral staircase. Is it a house? Is it... What is it? I don't even know. And I didn't know when I was building it either. I was just building at complete random. And because of that, it ended up looking like a mixed mash, who knows what, that's just sitting here for no reason, right next to a bunch of skyscrapers. Because I put no thought process into it. Didn't plan ahead. Now, this area, I actually did start to do a bit of planning. I did a tiny bit of planning. I was like, okay, so I'm going to put a cafe right here, and I'm going to put a park right here. And I'm going to have the fire station be right here. Now, what should I do after that? But again, didn't put too much effort into it. Because of that, I mean, the park is tiny. It's okay, I guess. It's not really a park. I mean, it kind of is, but not really. The cafe is a bit too small. I was expecting it to take up a bit more space. But the cafe I ended up going with, Magma Musins Cafe, well, basically I was like, okay, we're gonna have a cafe here. Which one should I do? And I basically scrolled through a list of Minecraft how to build cafe videos that I had bookmarked, clicked on whichever one I did, which ended up being Magma Musins, and then built it. Turns out I chose one of the smallest ones because I wasn't paying attention to who it was. If I would have realized it was Magma Musin, I would have realized it was going to be a survival build, which means it wasn't going to be too big. But like I said, I didn't. So it ended up being way too small. And, you know, I've tried to make it work, and it's going to work, but it's not going to be realistic. none of this is. And it's not just not realistic. It's more than that. It's like this city is as realistic as fighting zombies on the moon during a nuclear fallout. In other words, not fucking very. Because it's just... no city would be built like this. To have a bunch of skyscrapers and to have, like, a bunch of buildings like these that are the size of skyscrapers, no city would have one of those buildings the size this one is. This building, it's ridiculous. If I had built it alone, it could have worked as a skyscraper. But because I didn't, it makes no sense. And at the end of the day, what we're going to have to go with to explain this is basically just, you know what? It looks good, so let's go with that. But even on that one, I'm not sure if it's going to look too good. Because, I mean, from right here, looking at it, it already looks ridiculous. I'm hoping that when this one gets done, and when the few that come after it get done, it'll start to look a bit more realistic. Or at least look good. But you can only hope for so much. So, you know. This could easily be my biggest failure in this world. This area was not supposed to be like this. This was supposed to be like the, I'm trying to think what the name of this would be. Like, you know, like the, like a bit of like, I'm trying to think. Okay. This is kind of like the metropolis zone of this world, you know, where all the skyscrapers are. I'm still gonna make it that, but I was not planning on it being this way. I'm gonna have to continue the metropolis zone a bit further out in this direction instead of in this direction. Originally, it was supposed to spread out like that. Now it's gonna have to spread out like that, or like that. So it's going to be not, well, not exactly what I wanted, or what is preferred, especially not with, like, the kind of, like, downtown area that this is. I know I keep saying downtown, despite the fact that skyscrapers are kind of in the downtown area, but I mean, like, I don't know what that would be called. Outer city? Inner city? I don't know what you would call this. The part of the city that's basically just a bunch of old, tiny buildings that are connected. Or even just a bunch of buildings that are connected. Maybe that is just part of the downtown area. Maybe it makes sense to have buildings like these surrounded by skyscrapers. Maybe we could play it off as this being a skyscraper and then these being smaller buildings. Who knows? I'm not really sure. But I'm just gonna have to try and make this look as good as possible, going off the mistakes I've already made, because there's no one doing it now. I didn't keep any backup saves of this world. If I wanted to get rid of all of these buildings and go back to when it was just the hear it even though it's off. Okay, that's annoying. Wait, no I can't. And it's back. Okay, that ringing is really annoying, and I don't remember what I was saying because I got distracted by how annoying the fucking ringing noise is. Oh my god. Oh, that ringing is literally gonna drive me insane. Okay, you know what? Let's just come into this building and start working again. Wait, what? Oh. Yeah, it's supposed to come out all the way to here. No, we're not doing interior. I already said I wasn't going to do interior right now. So I don't know why I was about to do interior work. The best thing for me to do right now is to do the exterior first, and then go back and work on interiors afterwards, which is kind of what I've done for pretty much all of the buildings, except for some of these ones. Like, if you look in here, completely empty right now. This one had the floors done, but was left completely empty. This one I purposely didn't put very many floors because I didn't want to do very much furnishing. Oh, and also because at the time I was still making builds that were damaged to this capacity, so I thought having like no floor space was the best way to make an apocalyptic tower. I'm definitely gonna tear this one down because this was my... To put this into context, the last time I built a skyscraper, it was in Minecraft Pocket Edition, and it was a giant square that went like 100 blocks tall, made out of stone and glass. It was like the definition of a noob scraper. And then I built this one, which admittedly it's been like 4 years since then, so you would have thought that I would have had some slight capacity of understanding on how to not make a pile of shit. You know, I don't. Because why would I? It's me. So instead I built one I've been arguing with myself, and I'm like, I'm tear this down, tear this down. Now it's not a problem instantly tearing down everything. Actually, my do, so I believe a giant red block. It's just not nice. It's not nice looking. In my remade building, I'm gonna make it gray. Yeah, gray. A nice gray roof. Plus, once the roof is gray, it'll be perfect. Because once the roof is gray, on the map it'll be gray. And the more gray spots, the better. And yes, I know my city does not look very impressive on the map. All of the cities I've seen, when you look on the maps, they have these giant like boxes of grays and stuff, and I'm like, now how did you manage to build so many skyscrapers and buildings so close together that it all aligns into this just beautiful city map design on your maps? And in the end of the day, I just chalk it up to, they're better. But yeah, I'm gonna build more buildings. I guess the other thing is that my roads aren't gray. They're black, which is, again, one of the things that in hindsight, if I could go back and change stuff, I would turn the road into gray. I would make it a bit fuller, because right now it's a bit too damaged for my liking. If I was going to have it be gray, I would make this white. I would come over here, change this so it's white inlaid lines, and on the outside, it would be a stripe of yellow. I think I'd make it maybe a block or two thicker, even. There's so many things that I would go back and change if I were going to be retaking this project. And if I ever do make a new city project, and actually, These are all things I'm gonna keep in mind whenever I build the second city and the third city in this world. Admittedly, having the city that you spawn in be the least good-looking city is not gonna be great. Oh, and in the next two cities I build, I'm gonna use a lot less builds from the internet. Like, so far, I would say 50% of the builds in this world right now aren't mine. Like, that's not mine. That isn't mine. This isn't mine. That isn't mine. That isn't mine. That isn't mine. That isn't mine. Actually, this one kind of is. I went and changed it a lot from the original design, but that one isn't mine. But this is kind of part of this building, so I'll just count them as one and say that it's not mine. This isn't mine. This isn't mine, and this isn't mine. Basically, pretty much all of the build, like 50% of them aren't mine. And if you've noticed, yeah, the 50% that aren't mine are the ones that look the greatest, to be honest. And in the next two cities, I'm going to use a lot more of my own builds, because whenever I started building, the reason I use so many builds that aren't mine is because, like, I was not confident in my building. Like, whenever I was building this, in the back of my mind the entire time, I'm like, oh god, oh no, I really don't want to fuck this up. Oh, if I fuck this up, it's not going to look good. Oh no, this is really bad. I really have to make a good skyscraper. And after I built it, when I first built it, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess that's okay. I guess it's fine. And then I started building this one, and I'm like, you know what? I really like that design. But then I got lazy right here, and I was like, man, I'm so sick of doing this. I'm just going to cap a roof on it here. And I was like, oh, it's about the size of that. It's fine. I'm definitely tearing this down. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to make this higher. Like, I'm probably going to tear off the roof right here and extend this up maybe 3 or 4 layers after I rebuild this one. There's a lot of things that I'm going to go... You know what? I am going to tear this one down, and I'm going to just start doing it right now. Because I keep, like, talking about how disappointed I am in my first two... I'm not really disappointed in this one, though. I just think it needs to be taller. Like, in my opinion, this is actually a pretty good model for a skyscraper. I'm definitely changing the roof to gray as well. Because I'll be honest, I don't like the roof. I also don't like the interior roof, like, or the ceiling. Like, what the fuck is this? Why is it clay? Why is it clay? Whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna extend this to around maybe 2 or 3 more floors. Well, hold on, how big is a floor? Every floor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like about 5 or 6 blocks. Yeah, I might extend it. Maybe 3 or 4 floors. Actually, I kind of want to make it tall. Yeah, I'll probably extend it like 3 or 4 floors. I'll extend it 3 or 4 floors. As for this building, I might leave it, I might change it, not really sure yet. I don't want to do too much change. I'm probably going to tear this down as well, and I'm probably going to go back and tear that down and that down as well. Maybe. I might leave it. I honestly don't think it's too bad for just like a little broken building on the side of the village. Like, from the inside, I kind of like this tree, and once bark block comes into the game, by the way, I'm definitely going to replace these with bark block. But I do kind of like this tree, if I'm being honest. I don't know why there's a tropical tree growing in what, as I established last time, is more like a North American area, so like southern Canada, north of the US. That's another thing about when you say North America. I feel like whenever I say a Northern America, like a North American area, I feel like sometimes some people who, I don't know, maybe they don't understand. I'm like kind of implying that my audience is stupid. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like when I say North American area, I feel like some people, like, whenever they think North American, instead of thinking, like, you know, US and Canada, they literally just think, so, like, the North of America, right? But I mean, like, northern North America, so, like, the top of the US and the that part. Although I kind of think this would be more like the most southern part of Canada and the most northern part of the U.S. That kind of region. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm arguing with myself, trying to think about what the climate for this area is. Actually, I do know why, because I placed spruce trees next to a bunch of oak trees, and ever since I did that, now all I can think about is, well, wait, what type of area is this? I'm really happy with the design of my Jeeps. I just realized I'm supposed to be building. I said this last time, and I'm going to say it again. I don't understand how, no matter what, I don't understand how no matter what I do, in all of my videos and live streams, and basically everything, I always end up somehow accidentally going on a massive world tour instead of working. I always get distracted. And it happened last episode too. I got distracted for like 30 minutes and just stopped working. And whenever I was originally filming last episode, the original film got deleted. Because in the original first episode, I showed off all that was in the world at the time, which at the time, like all of these buildings and the park area were missing. I hadn't built them yet. And I was like, you know what? This is what we got so far. We're going to continue it, and that's going to be good. So yeah, we're going to do that. La-di-la-di-la, you get the point. And then I didn't record. Because there's like a thing where if you have a recording and you hit the options button one time, if you only hit it once, it doesn't save the recording. Because I hit the options button and then hit circle, so it just didn't save the recording, it just stopped it, but then didn't save it. Which, that wasn't fun. That was very not fun. Should I do a different layout? No, I'm just gonna stick to the normal layout. I think it looks better that way. I'll do the windows after I do the starting bit of this. I think next episode I'm probably gonna work more on. Wait, what? Oh, right. I got so distracted by that. Wait, okay. I think next episode I'm gonna work more on maybe some roads and stuff. Maybe some geography. Because if there's one thing this world is missing, it's geography. Like, currently the only geographical features that this world has is a single pond, and whatever this is, maybe an explosion indent or something. Whatever that is, again, maybe explosion indent, who knows. And then I think it's like a singular pile of dirt in the back half of this building. And, yeah, no, that's kind of it. That's like all the geographical items that have been placed in this. Like, other than that, everything is flat. Which, I know that might not bother some people. Like, they'll be fine walking through a completely flat city. But personally, I can't deal with an all-flat city because the entire time in the back of my head I'm going to be saying, wow, this is a really flat city, don't you think? Because, like, even in, like, my neighborhood, which is basically just a bunch of houses, and you would think, oh, bunch of houses, so obviously the ground is flat. Actually, I don't think there's a single human being alive who would say, oh, bunch of houses, obviously the ground is flat. But, like, even in small neighborhoods, from the bottom of my street to the top of my street, there's an actual bottom and top. Because the top of our street is on a hill that slowly curves down, with a second hill on the left side. So there's technically, like, two, like, hills right next to each other that are actually one. It's like one hill with two. Wait, don't all hills have 2 degrees? Wait. just gonna stop talking because I am not good at explaining things. But like, yeah, basically my point is there is nowhere on the earth, there's nowhere on the world that is flat. Except the world itself. The world itself is obviously flat, but everything on the flat, nah, that's... What? Hold on, let me... The world is flat, but nothing on the world is flat. It's like a Minecraft world, like a normal Minecraft world. It's flat, but there's a bunch of geography popping off of it. So it's not like a flat world. Like, it's a flat world, but it's not a flat world. It's a flat world that's flat because... Wait. Okay, everyone, we're gonna stop playing English with me because I'm no good at it. Okay, what was I... Man, I always get distracted whenever I'm working, because something always happens that just completely drains my focus. I think it's mainly the silence, because whenever... I don't know who did it, but someone recently changed the damn settings on my PlayStation. So now, the headphones, well guess what? All the audio comes through the headphones now. And I don't know how to undo that because I've never really had to mess around with my PlayStation. You know, whenever I have my PlayStation, all I do is use it to watch Netflix because I have no life and play video games. I never really mess with any of the settings. I'll change my settings once every 3 years, basically. So I've never had to know that. And since the person I asked who did it was like, gave me like the most half-hearted, lazy explanation possible, I still don't know how to change it back. So basically there's no sound, and if you're wondering, well, why not just wear the headphones? It's because when the headphones are on, I can't talk properly with the headphones on. My voice sounds weird. Like, the headphones make it so I can barely hear myself. So my voice sounds super muffled. So I end up talking way too loud, or because I can barely hear myself, I don't talk fluently enough. I'll be like, yeah, because like I'm trying to think, but I can barely think because I can barely hear my damn self. Because I'm the kind of person who thinks out loud. Like, I do pretty much all of my... God damn it, I got distracted again and I'm not working. This happens way too fucking much. Like, way too fucking much. But yeah, basically, they changed the settings on my damn thing. And now all the audio comes through the headset. And because, you know, I can't really think with the headset on because I just can't hear myself think because I physically can't hear myself. I basically just get distracted and become so unproductive. Like, I'll just sit there for 10 minutes doing nothing. And that's not good, and I won't even be talking while I do nothing. I'll just be flat out doing nothing. Like, just sitting there silently, maybe walking in a circle, like up and down the streets of the city. But yeah, so that's not really a good idea. So it gets pretty boring having no sound come through the TV while commentating. Cause like, you're working and you're trying to comment as you work and you're trying to like, you know, something got in my eye. You're trying to like keep on focus and you're trying to be productive while also allowing other people to like actually hear. Like, you're trying to be productive while also not boring your audience. You're trying to keep on like trying to have good commentary, but you're also trying to be productive. And it gets hard to do both whenever you physically can't hear the audio. So, you know, I'll do the interior and the windows later. Well, yeah, it's just stone brick. I'll do all the, like, the sill parts, but I'll, again, do the windows later. By the way, this is an amazing way to build, windows and stuff, because it allows your building to have so much more depth than if you just used windows. Because, like, if you use normal windows, which I actually used pane you know what I'm saying, right? If your windows are on the same level as your normal wall, if they're like just directly connected to your wall and you're just using block, it looks way too flat. If you're using pane, it helps a bit, but it's still, you can't have a bunch of skyscrapers that are just 4-block holes with panes. That's how you get most noob skyscrapers. And they never really look good. You're always going to be like, it looks too flat, it looks too plain. But this, it allows you to get like 4 layers of depth. Because first, you have the outer layer where you have this and where you have that. Next, you have the second layer where you just have this. And then you have the third layer where you have the glass blocks. It's just so much, like, more depth, you know? I would say this is probably one of the better ways to build a skyscraper if you're gonna do skyscraper windows. You should, and to be honest though, you should never only do a single way whenever you're working with skyscrapers, like with windows. You want to have like 30 different, and even just with normal cities and even with normal builds, you don't really want all the windows to be the same, because if you have 12 buildings that are all using the same window style, eventually you're just going to be like, okay, wow, these look practically the same, and you'll just be like, that looks stupid. Hold on, this is probably quicker. Okay, seriously? You've got to be kidding me. I managed to do this first side so much quicker. Alright, now let's try to do the same thing on this side. A, son of a bitch. A. Oh, god damn it. Alright, whatever. That's all of it, right? A, this building is done, except that I didn't fill in the windows. Which I'm not gonna do right now. I'm not sure about this. It's 5:17, but I've only been awake for 9 hours. So, oh shit. I'm probably nearing the end of the video. Well, shit, I didn't even think about that. You know what, we pretty much finished an entire skyscraper in this episode. Well, we finished more of a downtown building. Those are kind of the same thing. Okay, whatever, you know what, we did some work. So, yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Lazarus Cities building project, and I will see you all in the next episode where we will continue to work on Terminus. So, yeah, peace out.